So let's talk about Madrid. I absolutely love Spain. This last year was, I'd spent a lot of time in Japan. The year before that, though, I'd done 2 trips to Spain. I've been on maybe 3 school trips to Spain, and it's hard to pick favorite cities or favorite countries, but Spain is very high on my list of places that I will go back to multiple times. The reason I'm focusing on Madrid is because my friend, his daughter is heading there in about 2, 3 weeks for about 6 days, maybe 6 nights. And she just asked me for some advice on places to go, what to do, getting from the airport to the hotel and things like that. And so I just kind of, as I was doing some research today, I put all of it in a Google Doc, and I'll put a link down below if I can. I've never really done that before, but I'll add a link to it, and it's just going to be all the information I've gathered for my 3 nights I spent in Madrid, and that's all I've ever really spent outside of that school trip, and that was years ago. But I will say that 90% of what I researched and found out about Spain, I really went to one source, and that was a guy named James Blick, who founded Devour Tours. He is a New Zealander, I believe, who's married to a Spanish woman, and he lives in Madrid. Started a tour company, and again, I'll put a link to this as well. Very happy to promote his product because I purchased a thing called Madrid Revealed, which was just a PDF file. It's like 292 pages long, and I just used it as my guide to all of Madrid. So you could skip the rest of this video, in all honesty, and just go purchase his kind of 18 euro packet, and you have everything you will ever need. But if not, I'm going to give my thoughts on, Madrid and some of the basic places to go and see and what I enjoyed. First of all, transportation in Madrid is phenomenal. They have an amazing metro system. Their taxis from the airport are a flat fee, so that's nice. It's not cheap, but it gets you straight to the hotel. I jumped on a bullet train and went to Barcelona from there. The airport's nice. I stayed very centrally located. I stayed in Sol, S-O-L, and I bought a 10-ticket metro pass, and that pretty much did me for the 3 days, and I just walked everywhere. Very walkable city, fun to move around in, and the metro's just really, really easy to use. As far as things to do in Madrid, a high-end shopping area, there is a lot of markets to go to, some amazing museums, maybe check out a Real Madrid match or go to visit the stadium. Of course, when you visit Madrid, you have to see the Golden Triangle of Art, which consists of 3 very famous art museums. At bare minimum, I would suggest the Prado, and then perhaps Reina Sofia because of Guernica by Pablo Picasso. There's the Royal Palace, the Cathedral, the Gran Via, and other historical neighborhoods of Madrid that are definitely worth a visit. Another must-see is Retiro Park. It is a beautiful pond in the center where you can rent rowboats. It has the oldest tree in Madrid, a beautiful rose garden, a crystal palace, and a pavilion garden with a flock of peacocks. Residents can be found walking, running, and even roller skating through the park any time of the year. I would suggest Plaza Mayor. Even though it's a bit touristy, it's definitely worth a wander. It's just probably not a good idea to eat there because everything's a little bit overpriced. Personally, I really enjoyed Mercado San Miguel. It is a gourmet market full of amazing food, and it's going to be very, very packed. There are several markets in Madrid, and anywhere you go in Spain, the market is worth a visit. There are, I just think, certain things if you're in Spain, so I don't know just specifically Madrid, but if you're in Spain that you should try that are either just better in Spain or unique to Spain. I made a list here of the things that really stood out to me. A couple of really simple ones that I think you just have to try if you are in Spain is jambon ibérico. So just, chorizo and ibérico and just various types of ham. I can't really describe how good it is because I've never had anything quite like it. To me, it's a step above prosciutto. It's amazing. Another one that's a really simple dish is tomato bread. It's just simply tomatoes and garlic and olive oil, on a piece of kind of old bread, and somehow it's phenomenal. Spanish wines, especially red wine to me, were amazing. Vermouth, and when we think of vermouth, we often think of, putting it in a martini, but this is a very different drink. It's more of some kind of a red wine variation. I have no idea how it's made, nor do I really care. Definitely try vermouth if you're in Spain. And the final thing, and there's a bunch of others I have here, but Patatas Bravas just became one that really stood out to me. I know when Dan and I were there, we really enjoyed getting Patatas Bravas, so it's just a nice dish. But there's tons of others on here. We'll point out a couple of things, though. Sangria and paella. Sangria is not quite as popular in Madrid. They have their own variation. And paella is more of a Valencian dish. And you can get good paella, I have no doubt, in Madrid. I only had it in Barcelona, but be very careful with sangria and paella because they come after the tourist on those. And so if you're in the real touristy area and you see it with a giant picture on a sign, there's a really good chance it's overpriced and under quality. And so just avoid it. Try to do some research, find a better place, and go find something a little more authentic. Kind of get away from just paella and sangria, and then there's nothing else. There's so much more to their food and their drink than just those two items. I would highly suggest doing one of the Devour Tours. Devour is the company, and they do kind of lunch tours, night tours. They're usually between about $80 and $100 US dollars. Well worth it. You get to try lots of different types of food. They try to take you to some places that are very authentic. I discovered many of the restaurants for this trip from looking at the Spain Revealed YouTube channel as well as Devour Tours website. These are a few of the ones that I enjoyed the most. Specifically on here, I really enjoyed Casa Tony. It's a really, really small tapas bar and some unique dishes. You kind of have to crowd yourself up to the bar just to get some food. La Casa de la Abuela had probably the best dish I had in all of Madrid, which was the garlic shrimp. Really simple dish, but amazing. San Ginés, where you get the famous churro, is at this point probably very touristy and extremely packed. With that said, I arrived early in the morning, by chance was walking past it, jumped in the line, and it was 100% worth it. So I have no doubt if you do some research, in fact, I have a link right here where they list the best churro places. It's on the list, but there's other places to get it as well. And keep in mind, churros are really for breakfast, not a dessert at dinner or something like that. So those are just a couple of places that stood out to me. There's, more famous places, more expensive places. I just kind of like those. And finally, for her, I just wanted to give her a few basic tips. Number one, sadly, in Spain, and really more in Barcelona maybe than even Madrid, but pickpocketing is a thing. I had a phone stolen. The only thing I've ever had stolen in all the trips I've ever taken in my entire life, and I was pickpocketed in Barcelona the day before I left on that same trip. So that is a thing to really think about when you're going to those cities. It's a very safe place, but if you are a tourist, pickpocketing is probably the number one crime committed. Just be vigilant. Don't get too stressed or worried about it, but just, pay attention to your belongings. Tipping is not required. I think unlike Japan, where you really just didn't tip, you can tip in Europe and you can tip in Madrid, but you're probably not going to leave more than 5 to 10%. And usually it's just extra coins or change, but you can definitely tip. It's just not quite like America, where you feel that obligation to tip 15-20% if the service is good and so forth. Now this, if you're going in the summer, will be a harder one, but people do dress very nice there. So you're going to say it out as a tourist anyway. I wouldn't worry too much about it, but it is definitely a very fashionable city. I would not consider myself extremely fashionable, but I went in the winter, so it was easy, jeans and a nice jacket and things like that. But in the summer, you can wear shorts. It's going to be really hot, but just make sure you're not wearing like flip-flops and swim trunks or anything, for whatever reason you'd be wearing that. Spanish meals are on vastly different times than what we're used to, but if you're in touristy areas, you are going to be able to eat whenever you want. But in some of the more traditional restaurants, they may be closed at noon because they don't open up until a little later, and dinner may start really late. So if you're with Spanish people, you may be eating at a very different time. If you are going to do day trips, Segovia is a very popular one. I've not done that. Toledo is amazing. I did that years ago. So, there are a lot of good day trips out of there. And if you're going to say, go stay somewhere else, I think my ride to Barcelona on the fast train was about 2.5 hours, cost maybe €40. So you can, use Madrid as a base city, or you can jump on a train and go somewhere else and fly home from a different city. There's a lot of good websites and YouTube videos. Like I said, I specifically would suggest James Blick, Devour Tours. His YouTube channel is called Spain Revealed, and it is just easily the best one. Attaché, which is another YouTuber, he did a really nice video on Madrid. Walter's World's always great. So just, as you're doing your research, kind of pick the things that you like out of it and go with that. So anyway, I thought I'd put all this together, and I'll stick it in the section below this that kind of just has what I've discovered, and probably more useful than my comments and thoughts are the different links. It's just nice to have them in one place. And I think that's something I'm going to do for all of my other videos, especially my Japanese ones. I went on this trip before I started this channel, so I thought I'd kind of retroactively go back and give my thoughts on Madrid, and I'll probably do the same thing with Barcelona later. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, put them below. Thanks.